Hello, hello, hello. It's your favorite time of the day, the Ross and B. Nate Show. I'm your host, Ross, and Nate will be joining us in just a few minutes. He's flying in from Chicago.
Yo, word up.
Hey, Nate. How are you doing tonight?
Awesome. How are you?
I'm doing well. Just sipping on some tea, getting my groove on with life. Pretty much what's going on over here.
How many dips you got in that?
Dips?
On your tea? You let your tea bagging over there.
I'm just letting it float. I didn't dip at all. I just let it float.
Well, hey, let's fucking jump right into it.
Sure.
Okay. We could do, like, I had some topics written down, but I thought we'd do a quick backstory real quick. So me and Ross are roommates. We've been roommates for like 6 months almost.
Yep.
And we've known each other for like 10 years, right? Hella long. Okay, so
Long
basically
time.
we're roommates. We're both broke bachelors. We live in downtown Sac. And that's really all you gotta know, right?
Pretty much.
Okay. So that was, I basically put 10 years into 10 seconds. That's a good laugh track. I love it.
It's pretty funny.
I love how bad it is.
Yeah. So that's the backdrop for the play we're about to play around with, or some shit. I don't know.
Hey, let me ask you real quick. So since we live downtown, you moved downtown what? 6 months. Like I said, 6 months ago. How do you like it so far?
Oh, I love downtown Sacramento. It's awesome. There's a ton of stuff to do. Everything's close by. The homeless people are everywhere, like with The Walking Dead.
Like the homeless people is a big thing. That's definitely the first thing I noticed when I moved to Sac. It's there's a lot more, and it's weird because like I was actually thinking about this. Like, I like living here, but I think if I had a family, I couldn't do it because it's like, what can you imagine just walking down the street and there's like a homeless guy just passed out and you're like, oh yeah, let's just step over them. It's all good. It's fine. I don't think that's good for a kid to see. I don't know. Maybe I'm overprotecting isn't good, but it's like at the same time, how do you explain that to a kid? Like, yeah, this guy needs a lot of help, but let's just ignore him and get some ice cream.
Yeah, that's a good thing to bring up. Like, you know, how much do you want to expose your kids to the truth and the reality? Do you want to, you know, raise them with just like puppy dogs and ice cream cones, or do you want to like expose them to like what's really happening, what could really happen if they don't get their shit together? So, you know, in one way, if you just show them that homeless person, man, that's like a pretty good reason to finish high school. If I live downtown, I'd just point out the homeless all the time and show my kids, be like, that's what you're going to be like if you don't do this.
That's crazy. That's actually a good point. Like, that sounds like a terrible thing to do, but it'd be like a great lesson. Like, hey, yeah, why don't we just like talk to this homeless person and ask him how good he did in high school? Like, hey, did you do your homework?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, did you ever try marijuana? Like, I mean, that's the worst way to teach a kid probably, but it might be the best way.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I don't have kids. I think that's just too much responsibility.
Yeah, making choices like that, like, you know, man, I don't think I could do it. The homeless people are interesting because they say 75% of them have mental illness. I mean, that's what I heard, some stats or something. And so, you know, that there they are in society, and I think we've talked about this before. They've been there for thousands of years. There's always been the people that couldn't really afford to fit into what's considered normal, a socially normal like living environment. But do you think any of them are just like actually okay with it, or do you think like, you know, 98% of them definitely don't want to be out there, or are there any of them that actually like are okay with that lifestyle, like kind of like just a traveling lifestyle?
I wouldn't be surprised if there are some like super hardcore Zen people out there that just like, I don't really need anything really.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm not trying to say that
definitely not the majority
like that. Of course they don't like being in the cold. That's not what I'm saying.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm just in deep thought right now. If you could have a camera looking at me, I would just be kind of thinking about the dumpsters every morning. Like, I went to throw out the trash today, and it's every day. And I put a box in there, and there's a homeless guy digging through it, and I turn around, and he turns around at the last minute while I'm putting something in the garbage can. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. And I'm just like, I mean, it's okay, man, but it's like, I don't know, like it wasn't bothering me or anything, but it's just like, I I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I just don't like. I just want to throw my trash away. You know what I mean? Like I just want to use the garbage can for what it's for. Go put my trash out there, and whatever. That's all.
It's crazy how that's a huge resource though for homeless people because they're all over that shit.
Yeah,
It's like their mine. It's like a mine. They're like mining for stuff, and like it's like a super stinky mine.
it's a stinky mine full of a lot of stuff, precious metals and containers and stuff we don't think is useful at all. It's crazy to think about value. I was broke recently, and I ran out of gas, and the gas light came on, and there was $2 or $3 in my bank, and I came home for lunch, and I had like $2 on me, and I put together a bunch of quarters from this jar I have, got $3 of quarters, and I scraped it all together to $5, and I went to the gas station and I put it in my tank so I could go to work one more day right before payday because I suck at managing money. But when I went in to get the $5 worth of gas at the gas station, there was a big group of homeless people having a little like powwow. And I was thinking, man, if they ask me if I have any change, I'm definitely saying no. I just fucking worked really hard to get all this shit together just to get back to work. But it kind of put in perspective like how big of a deal a few dollars and change is. I guess this is where I was going with all that.
I remember a long time ago I worked at a car dealership and I had to deliver like a it was like a Mercedes Benz. It was like a really nice. It was like a 500 SEL, and I don't know why. I guess I just wasn't paying attention, but it was like out of gas pretty much, and I was like, oh crap! I basically scraped up like I think about 70 something cents, and I'm like pulling up in a fucking SEL, and just paying with like I'm like, yeah, can I get like half a gallon or no? Yeah, it was probably about half a gallon back then, but it got me to my destination. So, just kind of a weird juxtaposition. I remember one time we were in Las Vegas. We got comped a room. It was like for my birthday, and me and my friend, we basically got it for free because he actually worked for the company, but he blows through money so quick too. So we had a suite at the Ritz-Carlton at Lake Las Vegas. It was like off the strip. For a couple days, and by the last day we were both so broke we were just like sitting there on the balcony and like watching this guy mow the lawn. It was like a gardener, and I cracked this joke. I was like, dude, I bet you anything that guy has more money than we do right now. And it was probably true because if he had $10 he probably had more he probably had more of this. And we're both just hanging out at a fucking suite at the Ritz-Carlton, but it's just like money comes and goes so quick.
It does, and it goes fast when you're in like Reno or Vegas, that's for sure. And remember, in Reno, you're up and you're down and you're up. I say Reno like it's big time. I'm in Sacramento, okay? I don't even gamble. I'm just saying this one time in Reno, I distinctly remember losing all my money and thinking about how hungry I was and how awesome it would be to even have like $5 right then to even get like a McChicken or anything at all. It would have been so awesome. But that's the reality, man. A lot of people are going broke. It's like totally feast or famine. We make a joke and mess around about it, but like there's 52 weeks in the year, and 26 of them I'm broke, and 26 of them making it rain.
Balling.
And a lot of people are living like that, you know. I know I do. You get paid on payday, and you like want to like kind of satisfy or gratify that part of you that's been wanting things that you can't really afford, and so you go make a purchase and do something stupid to fill some sort of void, and we all do it, and it's fun.
I think though, like honestly though, it's like I'd say compared to like 10, 15 years ago, I'm definitely much more responsible than I was back then, because I mean at least now I have cool shit. Before I had very little like stuff that was actually useful and broke. But at least now I got stuff like, you know, a nice like laptop and like some music gear and stuff that like I actually use. But I mean, it's basically after going through so long of buying a bunch of shit you don't need and learning to like be much more responsible with it. But you know.
Yeah, basically the difference was I spent most of my money on drugs and alcohol and going out, and at least now I have tangible assets in some cases. But I also spend my money on drugs and going out. No, I'm just kidding.
You have a really nice Beanie Baby collection.
My Beanie Baby collection's on point. It's one of my stronger aspects of character. It's on my Tinder as a, women like Beanie Babies, I think.
There's probably like a dating website for people that just like collect Beanie Babies.
Like Beanie Baby singles. That'd be really freaky. Like one of the pictures is you, but then the rest of them is your Beanie Baby collection. And based on how many you have, like, this is just really weird. This gets into all those weird dating things. I have an email through Comcast, and it's so old. It's just like, if like picture like junk email were like fish in the sea, and my Comcast email is so old, it's like the biggest net you've ever seen catching so many junk emails. And so I get all these things for like elderlysingles.com, jewishsingles.com, christiansingles.com, farmerssingles.com. And I'm like, there's so many of these.
What if there was one that said like printertechnicians.com? We're like, maybe.
Ooh, yeah, copier technician.
It's like they just send out like all the categories. Like, I'm gonna hit somebody. It's like, it's all like pregnantmothers.com. It's like all these pregnant mothers. Like, ooh, you know what I'm saying? It's like, as long as it just speaks to you.
The women need a comfortable one for men. They could call it like notanaxemurderer.com, and then you're guaranteed that you sign like a little thing. You're not an axe murderer, and they just feel more comfortable, because it's like I swear, like at least 3 dates of these dating websites be like, "You're not an axe murderer, are you?" Like they
actually asked you that,
like not like in several different ways, like they.
But like it's like jokingly, right?
Yeah.
But it's funny though, because like I heard like cops will like when they're asking like, do you have any gun? They'll say like, do you have any guns, knives, weapons, hand grenades, nuclear missiles? I heard that they actually will say that as a joke, but if the person's like, oh no, I don't, like if they don't like laugh along, so it's basically, maybe they're asking it as a joke just to see if you laugh, because if you don't laugh, like, oh, he's definitely an axe murderer.
Yeah. I think that the men should meet the occasion and rise to it. And if they say, "You're not a murderer, are you?" You should be like, "You're not a gold digging whore, are you?" And be like, just go right for the throat.
Like if they don't laugh, they're like, "Oh, no, why would you ask that? How much money do you got?"
Like, you don't like prenups, do you? Oh. God.
Oh, let me ask you this. I thought of this the other day. Because I know that you're open to like meeting the right girl, settling down, getting married.
Mm-hmm.
Prenup? Are you thinking is that even like when that happens? Are you gonna get a prenup?
Well, let's think of it like this. Like, you don't really get a safe until you have something to put in the safe to protect it.
Right.
So I don't really need a prenup because I don't really have anything to protect.
Okay, let me switch this around then. Because you make a good point. Let's say she asked you, "Hey,"
let's
so
say
she's like a doctor. And she's like,
meet some ballin' doctor or nurse.
She brings up the prenup. Like, do you get the visceral reaction of like, "Ugh, greedy whore"?
No, I mean she worked really hard for that. I don't really care. Like if I can't, I'm marrying them for them. I'm not marrying them.
So it wouldn't bother you at all.
No.
But doesn't it mean she doesn't trust you?
I mean, maybe. So this is it's not like a yes or no question. There's so many variables. Like, let's say we started a business together and built this business from the ground up to the top. And she wants to get a prenup. That like probably makes sense for us, right? Or no? Like to protect.
That's a rare situation. You're not starting a business with her.
Okay, well if I'm not starting a business with her, like why would I even worry myself about her finances? Why would I
get that. Yeah, like I don't really. I guess it really depends if you have like some nice assets.
Yeah.
You would think about it completely differently, right? Like because it's really not on your radar.
No.
The thing about this, like, think about today, like all the guys that like have assets and they're getting married, and like it's like 50% success rate. It's like that's a big.
It's not
that's a
50%.
Big thing.
It's like it's
more.
It's 60 to 75% fit. What's it called?
What about in California? It might be different in California.
Okay, so with the power of Google, you can't, don't hold me to this. This is Google in front of me, okay? You can't quote me on this, but California divorce rate. Let's punch it in. 2016. We should have some stats developed. I don't know. California, United States divorce rate. OC divorce rate, one of the highest nation. Orange County of all. So
probably because that's the most prenup per capita.
I was just thinking that. Well, the Orange County, of course, we went down there for training, and of course, it's a great place. But let's face it,
it's not a great place.
There's some okay. So he's that. So this little thing says the national divorce rate is 50% in Cal. This is the national, but in California it's 60%.
What?
But,
so California is 60%.
So this one's saying it's 60% in 2016.
That's pretty high.
It's still pretty high.
So California is just higher than the national average.
Yeah, definitely.
And I would go by that because I live here. I mean, I'm not going to compare myself to like North Dakota, which might be like 40%. And I take that back. I'm sure Orange County is awesome. I've only seen part of it.
I'm punching in just highest divorce rate out of curiosity. Hungary 60%, 7%, huh?
Hungary.
Man, fucking. I guess they're getting all hangry and hungry, not eating enough or something, breaking up with people. The 10 most divorced nations. You know, I don't even want to get into this that much, but we're going to kind of like digress off of that real quick and get back into what you're saying about prenups and divorce. So
I could just imagine though, like from a female's I could try to imagine from a female's perspective that like as soon as that comes up, it just taints the whole relationship. Because basically, would you think about it, like let's say in a relationship it's going really well, everything's like you know, it's like you think you really know each other, and then it's like out of nowhere it's like I want to get a prenup.
Well, what is a prenup really saying? What's mine is mine, and what's yours is yours.
Well, I think what it's saying is like if this doesn't work out, I'd like to keep most of my assets. Because usually they put like, especially if you got a lot of money, I'm sure they're gonna like give them a nice like stipend or whatever to like.
And this is where like I don't know if I'm way off base or whatever, but my perspective on this is like, of course they're your assets. Who cares? Like, I'm not marrying you for your assets. I am marrying you for you, because my perception on this is that, you know what I mean? Like, I had some like, you know, semi weird rich Russian girl saying she wants to like take me to like Puerto Vallarta on vacation, and she makes all this money and stuff, and like
on the first date, right?
Like, yeah, on the first date, which is like creepy and weird anyway. Like, you wouldn't, of course, you probably wouldn't want to go with them. I'm just saying, and I'm not bragging. That's not what the point of this. Point of this is like, I don't want that. That's not what I'm going after. I don't want that. Like, I don't want the money. I don't want the assets. I want.
I mean, the other thing too is like maybe she wasn't consciously trying to like, you know, coerce you or manipulate you with it. Maybe she's just like, she thought it'd be fun, but at the same time, it feels a certain way when that. I mean, it's a couple things. First, it's like, it's kind of quick to go on a whole vacation because it's like, I mean, getting stuck on a vacation on like a third date. That's pretty early to be stuck on a vacation with someone. I mean, it's basically like
that would be horrible.
What is that, like 100-hour date?
Like
that's like you,
yeah.
Date.
You'd be silly to do something like that. Like, anybody who's asking anyone to go on a vacation within the first few dates is like, something's fucking wrong with you. I think like that's too much for either of you. You don't know each other. You don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know what's gonna happen if you sit next to each other in a car ride for an hour, let alone like a plane ride for 8. Fuck that. Like that, no. But so I was just kind of.
You never know. It might be awesome.
Yeah. Maybe.
I kind of feel like 100 years ago, it's like it would have made more sense because it'd be, you know, you got to travel by wagon, so you might as well spend a long time with someone, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know, like you hear like, I heard in the movies, I don't know if I actually heard this in real life, it's like those scenarios like, yeah, we talked on the phone all night and the sun came up. It's like, you know, that's a long time too.
I have done that.
You've talked, how long?
And I've just felt like that.
How long did you go?
Well, like I've gone to like 3, 4, 5, even 6 in the morning, and drove home at 6 and gotten ready for work at 8, even if I like really, really liked them.
Yeah, there you go. See?
That was cool. But you know,
but at least you can hang up at any moment, right? As opposed to being stuck at an airport.
Here's my thought on that exactly. The reason I did that is because I wanted to. Like we had like a feeling and an arrangement and an agreement that like it was a mutual understanding that we're hanging out together that late. It's not like in some cases you have people spend the night and then like they just won't leave. You're like, this isn't like I'm not just cuddling with you, like I have to go to bed, and they're like, I know, just a little bit longer. No, I'm joking. But um but hey, another point I want to touch on that prenup thing, and so let's play devil's advocate real quick with the women. So let's say you're like a very strong woman and you stand behind your man in ways that you weren't working. You were just raising 2, 3 children perhaps and doing everything that allowed that man to further everything. Like basically you had a mutual understanding where like you know like you were his go-to everything, and he was like financially trying to get ahead to provide for everybody, and like everything was going great. This guy made like a couple $100,000 a year. He's the breadwinner, you're the housewife, and or not the wife yet. Let's differentiate. So you're not the wife yet, but everything's going really good. So in that situation, yeah, if I was the wife and like I helped you build like an entire empire, I would be kind of offended by the prenup because like you enabled that husband to achieve a lot more. But
You contributed a ton of
yeah,
tangibles.
yeah. So I think that it should, you know what I mean? It's like only the two people involved really know how fair
Right.
what is what. But it just seems like on average, and maybe this is just.
I think judges actually take that into consideration though quite a bit.
Do they?
Yeah, I think they do. Because I've seen like, and this obviously is not official, but on Judge Judy, I think some girl supported her boyfriend
Oh, it must be
through
official.
through school or vice versa. I don't remember which it was, but supported one guy through school, and she made the other guy pay for her to go to school or something like that because he was doing really well, something like that. Wouldn't
Yeah.
quote me on it, but it's like I think, yeah, like I said, I think they take some of that in consideration.
Yeah, I mean the bottom line, I think, with people that try to take other people's stuff, no matter if it's a wife, a thief, or any or a husband,
So
yeah, husbands can do it too.
So let me ask you this, just hypothetical. Like in California, there's common law where it's like basically you're married 50-50 if you live together, right, for like 7 years,
Yeah.
something like that. So it's like if you had a girlfriend and things are kind of on the rocks the whole time and 7 years is coming up, would that actually like motivate you to just, break up with her? Or
You're like, oh look, you're the common law is coming up, and we need to figure out
we
this
got an
is going
expiration
anywhere.
date on this, like we got to like take a drink or fucking throw it in the trash.
That's funny. 7 years, bro. Shit or get off the pot.
I think after 7 years though, like someone who hasn't made a decision by that point wouldn't even fucking consider that.
Yeah, I mean, you should just fucking get married. Your life is already over. If you've been with them for 7 years and nothing's really happened. I mean, well, that's a cool screensaver. There's some sort of Zen bonsai Japanese maple of a red shade on the television. Just so you guys know.
I got a good topic for you.
Oh boy.
What was your what was like your best or a couple of your best blowouts when you're like, basically trying to talk to a girl and it just did not go well at all?
Oh god. It didn't go like where it went horribly. Oh, I got.
Well,
I got it.
basically, it just blew up in your face
There's
unintentionally.
there's just so many that come to mind. It's the mind is bottled with emotion.
They're always
One of
funny
them-
though. I mean,
well,
shit.
So to accurately answer that, you have to kind of dive into when my confidence was super low, obviously, because you project how you're feeling about yourself. You know what I mean, whether you know it or not. And I was projecting hard. And whether or not I was or wasn't, it was a pretty bad pickup line anyway. So basically, here's the setup. It's a couple years ago. I'm at a BJ's. A BJ's is a brewery, like a restaurant that has beers and stuff. I'm not getting a BJ. It's a major point in the story you need to follow. I'm at a BJ's restaurant, and the bar has these two younger, very attractive girls talking to this like really old guy, like old, just like, like what's going. It's like it looks like kind of like lifestyles, the rich and famous Robin Leach type old guy. And I'm like, God. And so I see the phone come out of the middle. So it's the old guy on the right, two girls to the left, middle girl talking to old dude, left girl I'm going in for. So there's a seat open. I go in for the left girl. And my friends are like egging me on. They're like, new. I just broke up. And I had to fucking do something. You know what I mean? Jesus, that was pathetic. Anyway, so I walk up to her and I'm like... I said something like... He's like, quick. I said, quick, we should sneak out the back while he doesn't see what's happening. You know, like implying like this old fucker's talking to you. You get away now.
And they're trying to get out of it.
Yeah, yeah. And instead, her response is like... And she turned around and kind of did her hair behind her ear and totally like fucking turned her head completely towards the old guy and her friend and like blew me off completely. So that went horribly.
Just straight up iced out.
Just iced out. So then the two icing on the cakes for this one were, I turn around and look at my two friends, and one of my friends is doing like the plane crashing, wings slowly falling with his hands like and then I walk back, I'm all, yeah, that went great. And then fucking so I turn around, I look at the bar, and at this point, young girl and old guy both have their phones out and they're exchanging like numbers. And I'm like, what the fuck? Is this like their neighbor and like he's gonna take them yachting or something? Like, what the fuck is happening here? I don't. And that was one of them. I mean, there's many more.
That was a good one.
You like that one?
Yeah, it's like basically you go up trying to like big league this guy, and you didn't realize this guy is actually in the big leagues. So
exactly,
you quickly got kicked down in the minors.
I learned there was more to it than fucking yeah. So exactly. That's cool. So what about you? You want to go one for one here? Jesus, what about you?
I mean, the one that always comes up for me is like when I was at a bar in Vacaville with like a friend or two, and I saw these girls, two cute girls getting carded at the door. I was like, oh yeah, at the door coming into the bar.
Okay.
And I could see them coming in, so I was like, I walked over there, and I was like, one of the girls had a really like big jacket, like she was like Kenny from South Park. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, oh, I got a great line for this one, right? I was like, as soon as she walked in, I was like, hey, what's up? She's like, hey. I was like, so how was it? She's like, how was what? And I was like, your trip to the North Pole. And I thought it was hilarious, but she got fucking pissed. She was like, what the fuck? I don't know. She just fucking went off, started yelling at me, and I don't know. I guess the music stopped at the same time because the whole bar was fucking just turned and like seeing this girl yell at me, and I'm just like, okay, wow. Cool. Well, it was nice talking to you. You know, just like rolling off is like fucking just my tail tucked between my legs, and my friend walked up and he's like, what happened, dude? Are you all right?
That is so funny.
The part about it is like, I still think it was funny.
It was. She just had a bad sense of humor.
Yeah. And I tried it. It was funny, dude, because I was like, okay, I got to come back. I can't let that one just fucking ruin my night because it was way too early. And I saw these, like, I literally, like, within a minute, I saw two girls standing by the bathroom. Like, I guess they were waiting to go in.
Oh, so you followed them in the bathroom.
So I followed them in the bathroom, and I brought some toilet paper. No, they were just chilling. And the funny thing is there was a payphone right next to the bathroom. And obviously no one was using payphones at that time. And so I just walked over there and acted like I was getting on the payphone.
Oh, smart.
And I was like, damn. I was like, hey, do you guys have 20 cents? And it worked. They were hella cracking up, and like I felt a lot better just to make a couple cute girls laugh.
Oh my god! So you hit him with the old 20 cents.
The whole 20 cents, yeah.
That's how long ago this story's from. Is the phone call was 20 cents, huh?
I remember when they were a nickel.
Hey girl, you got a nickel?
Dude, to be honest, I think they were 50 cents at that point, but I just said 20 cents because I thought it was funnier. See, I'm always on my fucking toes, man.
Wow.
That's not necessarily it works at all, but it's on my toes.
Mm-hmm. Plus, it's like, you didn't need the full 50 cents. It was like you had some change. You just need a little bit, like seeing if
Right.
they're helping out. So, you're a provider too.
Exactly. I'm
You
always carrying my sock of pennies with me.
okay. Well, except, oh man, there's so many stories that come to mind, but I think the best ones, and this is just a guess, I think the best stories that of the nature you're talking about, our mind probably successfully puts in the repressed banks and tucks away conveniently so you don't think about.
Yeah.
Like the ones that just like crushed you, and like someone like got on a microphone and said you're a stupid idiot or I don't even know.
I definitely had some bad text messages. They just went bad. I'm just so bad with texting.
Yeah.
It's like I'm already kind of deadpan with my humor. It's like when you text when you text, it's just like times 10.
Plus, you can't even communicate anyways. Like you personally, no, I'm joking. Like people can't, you can't communicate anyway through text message very well. So you really have to get on the phone. This just came up today. I was like texting some girl, explaining to her how like, I won't even get into the details, but it's like, they got all lost in translation, and she had a different iPhone. I sent her a paragraph. And she's like, I received the 1 of the 3, but I didn't receive 2 and 3 of 3.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And I'm just like,
Or they'll come in out of order.
Yeah. And I'm like, this is like, man. Exactly. That's why I don't mess with all that.
Sometimes I'll get like an email and I'll look at my phone. And for whatever reason, it's usually in a email string. One of the emails will just literally be one letter on each line and it'll go straight down. And I'm like, obviously you can't read it. I mean, all the letters are there. But it's fucking literally like 10 stories tall of like someone's just basic. I don't know. I don't know. You know what the funny thing is? I think the best way to actually text message people is with GIFs. It communicates way more, I think.
Yeah, in some ways. You know what the best way to do is? Just look at them face to face and tell them how the fuck you feel. Like, it's fucking, I know it's.
Why would you do that?
Incredibly terrifying.
Like in the same oxygen zone?
Like within reach of getting hit. Your human brain says, no, don't do that. Don't tell them the truth within a couple feet of them. Just do it in a text message. It saves a lot of time, okay? It does save a lot of time to not talk to these people face to face.
We definitely spend a lot of energy on like managing a persona. And I think that's why people don't usually like to communicate face to face or on the phone. I actually prefer talking on the phone. Usually, I mean, unless it's like I'll be there in like 20 minutes, but if it's like anything more than like 3 lines, I just don't feel like texting. I'd rather just call.
That's it. Let me ask you a question. Do you think being lazy is the same as not having energy? Are those interchangeable? If I don't have energy tonight, am I lazy?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Because the number one
I seriously had to
reason-
like think about it 3 times to even know what the fuck. I'm like, no energy equals lazy, and or maybe.
Because the number one reason I don't respond to all these people or engage them in a half-hour conversation telling them these girls how I feel about them, or like a family member how they offended me, like, is because of energy. It's not really because of like I'm trying to keep a secret. It's like I can't even fit that shit in. I gotta make some dinner. I gotta do some laundry. I don't really want to carve a half hour out of the day and figure out how to articulate my feelings and emotions to someone. So I just don't. It's not like, I don't even mean it personal. I don't mean to hide it. I don't mean it, anything like that. Just like, you know what I'm saying?
You know what's weird though? I can relate to what you're saying. At the same time too, I sometimes I like to think like, does my brother feel like I don't communicate? Like, does my brother feel obligated to talk to me more? Like, maybe he does. I don't hold it against him if he doesn't. Like, I talk to him like once a month or whatever, or once every 2 or 3 months. I don't hold that against him, but at the same time, you do kind of wonder, like, do they hold that against me? Maybe they don't, because I don't hold it against them. Right?
Yeah, I totally.
And I'd like to,
think
in a
that.
perfect world, no one would hold anything against anyone else, right?
Well, you bring up something I was thinking about the other day is like I think we were talking about comedy and we're talking about some of people bringing kind of like personal lives into it and maybe too much possibly. So in terms of like forgiving people, if 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 you don't learn to forgive people and forgive yourself, then like that's a huge amount of baggage to carry around all the time. And basically, if you haven't forgiven someone else, it's oftentimes about having not forgiven yourself over something. So to be mad at someone, you're usually mad at yourself a lot.
Why? I haven't heard that before. That's interesting. Have you heard that from someone else, or that's just something you came up with?
Well, the same thing you can't accept about other people, you probably can't accept about yourself.
Oh, like you're projecting.
I don't know. I don't know what the.
No, that's a good point, because I mean, like I've heard, like you see the shortcomings you see in other people is basically, I've heard that
Exactly.
are those you're projecting those.
So sometimes when stuff really pisses me off and people really piss me off about something, I try to think about how I might do that to other people.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it pisses me off that bad, chances are maybe I have done it.
And I've done that, and the crazy part is like my gut instinct is like, no, I don't do that, and you're like sitting, you keep trying to sit with that, like, do I do that? Like, no, no, do I do that? No, well, we'll do it. Well, let me think harder. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's. I feel like I fight that when I do it, but it's a good way to reflect on stuff, though, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like, think about this. So it's like I like the forgiving thing, dude. I really like that concept where that guy was talking about doing it every day. And it's like, I definitely don't do it every day, but it's like, it is something that you should, like, okay, I'm making my coffee. Who do I need to forgive today? Because it's like, you know, which one, like, it's easier to see in other people, like, than yourself. But like, I noticed, like, the guy the guy that shissed you at the comedy club.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, have you forgiven that guy for that? Because I could tell you that shit pissed you off.
Yeah, no. He's probably just thought he was. Who knows?
Exactly, like, who knows?
Mm-hmm. That's the bottom line. Is who knows? Could be anything. I mean, So here's another little thing to throw at you is, I constantly find myself on the freeway wondering why people don't get out of the way in the fast lane, and I simultaneously 5 miles down the freeway space out and like text message comes in and you kind of like set your phone down or whatever, can't do much while you're driving, and then you slow down a little bit and then suddenly you become that person a few miles ahead, and then now it's like, so what I'm saying is like our perception is all these people are around us irritating us, annoying us, but oftentimes we are those people annoying other people. So like you need to keep that in mind. It's a weird thing to think about.
I was just thinking too. It's like, maybe the reason, like, I definitely get angry really quick when I'm driving, and I'm wondering too. It's like, maybe it's because, like, subconsciously you really know it's super dangerous. I mean, fucking, you can crash your car and you can hurt yourself.
People that smash your head open or something.
So it's like, subconsciously, it's like you. That's why it's so easy to take it personally, because like, it's like, hey, like, this is life and death shit right here.
Yeah.
I remember one time I actually forced myself to drive in the slow lane for a week, just to like, because I was trying to learn more patience, and that's a good one because it's super hard to do, but it's weird. The weird part is, like, within like an hour, it's actually really easy. And it's like, and I guarantee, and one other thing too is like, you do not get pissed off nearly as much because you're in the slow lane and you're going slower than everyone else usually. So it's like, I mean, like I lost an hour of my week because I was driving the slow lane. Like, who gives a shit? Like, an hour goes by anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. I don't think I could do it.
I know. I told this one girl, she told me she gets road rage hella bad. She's trying to work on it. I'm like, oh, you know, I should try to drive in the slow lane for a week. That's what I did. She's like, oh, yeah. Yeah, no way. And it's like, hello, that's exactly why that's the exact reason why you do it. Because you can't do it.
Yeah. Try to break some sort of invisible barrier.
You just get triggered really easy. I mean, I still get pissed off. But you know what, that's like, it's weird though, because like I try to wave a lot of people in, but I even with waving people in, I'm very impatient. Like I'm like, yeah, go ahead. And like if he hesitates for like 1-2 seconds, I'm like, fuck off.
Yeah.
You had your 2 second window.
So.
Because I'm actually like thinking about the people behind me. I don't want to piss them off, you know.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about all the people, the whole tribe, everybody on the freeway.
Sometimes someone has to get slain.
So I segued us right there, thinking about the tribe. I got something I want to talk to you about. It's like a social maybe construct or something I've been dealing with and thinking about lately, and I'll just kind of call it like tribal shame. Like, so here's where I'm at. All my friends and family, you know, everyone who's important to me, everyone's spread out. So like some of the closest people are like 5 or 10 minutes, then 20, 30, 40, and then 2 hours, then 9 hours. So basically my tribe or my people, they're all like spread out, and like you can't really like take care of them very good because you're taking care of yourself. And like hundreds of years ago, we all lived very close to each other and didn't have cars that spread us out. So what I've been dealing with, I think lately, is like a little bit of like tribal shame, you can call it. You can't get down to like your moms or dads or cousins or brothers or friends as much as you'd like to, and so you're kind of trying to figure out, you know, where you fit in and whatever. So like, do you ever get that, or like where are you at with that? Like, you know what I mean? So take the floor.
So like when you say tribal shame, you're kind of like vaguely referring to like evolutionary psychology of like, you know, you have your tribe and you have to like maintain your tribe for your survival.
Exactly.
But it just like consciously, subconsciously, you feel like some kind of hole because you're not addressing that.
Yep.
Even though like in modern society, it's not necessarily necessary for your survival. But I mean, it brings up these like negative feelings.
Exactly. Like these primitive, latent, leftover survivor of the tribe feelings like are like misdirected towards like comedy jokes or something.
Right.
I don't even
know. I mean, I think that's pretty a natural feeling. A lot of people feel that way. I know my family is super small, so it's like I don't really have too many obligations, but I still feel like I have an obligation. And there's kind of two schools of thought of that. It's like you're not obligated to do anything at all. You know, you should be perfectly fine, you know, just doing what you want to do. And the other side is like, you know, to have a healthy psychology, part of that is to have good relationships with your family and friends. On that end, I do expect some reciprocation at bare minimum, because it's like if they're never hitting me up, I don't really feel bad about not hitting them. Not that I have any negative feelings towards them. And the other thing is like, but you know, people that are that want to see you and want to hang out with you, I do, you know, make it a point to at least every, you know, couple months or every month or so or once a year, try to see people, you know, because like I heard a really good definition of love. Love equals time. So real like love, like parents, like a father or whatever. If you really love your kid, it's easy to see. They spend a lot of time with them. So it's like, you know, I see it the same way. It's like, you know, if you want to keep your relationships healthy, you have to occasionally water them like plants or they'll die. So I do try to make an effort to, you know, I put on my calendar sometimes, like make sure you hang out with, or at least call them. Like, I mean, what the fuck? How much effort is a phone call?
Yeah, totally.
So, I don't know. That's how I see it.
Right. Yep. Technology.
But even at bare minimum, sometimes feels like I'm not doing enough sometimes. But I try also not to go hard on myself, because, you know, it's not like they're making some of them are. I'll give them that.
And then there's the whole social media, social networking app thing where like the effect of you see your cousin's baby pictures, so you don't need to drive down to Fresno to see your baby cousin because you saw the pictures on Facebook. So it's kind of like fulfilling this sense of visiting, but you're not really visiting anywhere.
Like you feel like you have a relationship, but it's basically just like a photo.
Yeah, it's like exactly. It's like a.
Well, that sounds like a fucking terrible aspect of social. I don't really use Facebook that much, so it's like I can see how that would happen, but that's why I don't really add a lot of people, because it's like I I actually feel like I have a better understanding of what friends are when I only add real friends.
That was profound, Nate.
It's probably super bullshit too at the same time.
Did you read that in a fortune cookie?
Yeah.
Was that your
I thought it sounded like original, but I guess someone else.
Was that your
wrote it.
Facebook update this morning?
It had a sunset behind it too.
So, you're kind of like maybe like a Zen Eastern interested person. You're drawn to that. Would you like to discuss that a little bit? Your passion for the Eastern simplicity.
Yeah, I really like Zen a lot. It's weird though too, because like one of the things I know so many weird Zen quotes, but they all seem to like apply at the best time. And one of them though that always kind of gets you is the more you talk about it, the further away you're from it. So it's like a total like a catch-22. It's like I like talking about it, but the more you talk about it, it's like the less you understand it. So it's basically just a lot really about just being in the moment, enjoying the moment, appreciating the moment, patience, compassion, and simplicity. Like, and I love the simplicity part, like minimalism. That's just a constant battle because it's so easy to accumulate a bunch of bullshit you never fucking use. But I noticed you've been really, really attentive to like trying to get rid of stuff, which is really cool to watch.
Oh, definitely. Here's a great example, and then I'll kind of ask you what your input is for people to minimize and bring themselves present. But first, I'll just discuss this real quick. There's a box of crap from the junk drawer from my old house I've been lugging around, and I was gonna start pulling. What was I gonna do? I was going to pull out all the garbage piece by piece out of this big box. You know, it's 3/4 of the way full. Pull out all the garbage and then just decide what to keep.
It was hella old shit too, huh?
It was hella old shit. And so I said, no, just pull out what you're keeping, only a couple of pieces, and then give yourself a very small container to keep. So it was like a, you know, like the old CD burner CDs, that the little clear thing that comes on the CDs when you get them blank. I had that to fill up from a whole box. And so I just filled that up, threw away the box. Anyway, I'm just kind of shedding light on I'm like, instead of keeping these big boxes of crap, I got to get rid of it. And you feel good every time you throw the shit away.
Yeah, I think that was like it was like a small, tiny little breakthrough because it's like your philosophy changed about it, looking at things. Because I think, I think most people would probably go through the box piece by piece, but you're like, no, I want to get rid of most of it. I only want to keep what I need. And that's just like, once you change, I think that's a big thing too, is like once you change your philosophy, a lot of just, your life kind of just changes.
And keep in mind, if you're listening to this, we're not selling a book on tape here, so this is just fucking free talk shit.
We are though. Like, it'll be $19.95 once a month.
Yes.
But not yet.
At some point. So how do you? What advice do you have to people that may be listening to all the 3 people that listen to this? What do you want to say to those 3 people about staying present?
I know personally that meditation was the biggest thing. I mean, I was really interested in it, but then when I tried meditation, it was like that. I mean, I think it just basically, it's just meditation is just sitting there and being present.
So let's talk about that for a minute, because like I got caught up in this a long time. It's like everyone, hey, you gotta meditate, right? Some Ross used to just meditate, and I'd always get frustrated when I heard that, because I don't have the time to sit there with my legs crossed in the dark with some relaxation music for 30 minutes trying to find my center. That was my idea of meditation. But now, if you fast forward to 2017, my perception of meditation is even if you're on the freeway and you take 7 seconds to take a couple of deep breaths and bring yourself present and not think about any of your problems and just feel yourself alive and with the force of the universe. Like, even, I'm just saying, like, meditation, I don't think of as sitting there in the dark anymore. Like, you could just being present and breathing for a few minutes is what I think of as meditation now. So do you feel what I'm talking about? Like,
yeah, I think meditation in some ways is an exercise on being present. So if you could just take a few deep breaths bring yourself back into the awareness of your body and focusing on like how you breathe, and then instantly you start seeing things around you because you're always in your head. So just doing that is just more and more is a great way to be much more present. And like the great part about it too is like it really, for me it felt like my relationships just were much more richer, just because when you're present with a person that you like being with, it's just the relationship, all the good parts of the relationship just come out.
Yeah, definitely. I was just thinking about some of the stuff I've heard about being present. And I think that's why going to the gym and becoming physical works so well and works wonders for the mind and body, is because there's not only the physical aspect, but you're basically redirecting your attention from your thoughts and your mind and all that chatter and clutter going on, and synapses firing, and you're basically bringing attention to your body, your biomechanical stardust, whatever the hell you want to call it. So yeah, bring attention to your hands and all that shit. Man, this is sounding like some zen ass fucking weird shit.
You know what it's like
what you're through your penis.
Like what you're saying though is like, I think a lot of people feel that way. It's like, I don't have time to meditate, blah blah blah. And I think when you meditate a few times, you're like, oh, I actually enjoy doing this, and it makes my time that I'm not meditating a little more enjoyable. So it's like when you make time to do things like that, it's like just enhances all other parts. But I don't know, it's just interesting. That's the other thing about Zen. It's like I don't have to care if you do it or not. I like doing it. If you want to do it, cool. If you don't want to do it, that's fucking just perfect as well.
Yeah, that is a great part of it.
So are we done?
Yeah, let's. It's 9:16.
All this talk about meditation is making me kind of tired.
Right, it's 9:16 p.m. on March 10th. So we're gonna call 916 a good sign that we should stop, because this is in Sacktown. I got a big
home of the 916.
I'm gonna end on that note.
Well, I'm Nate,
and I'm Ross. Applesauce.
Have a good night, everyone.
Take care.